Hello Scorpio, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section, we'll be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you are a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading, booking a personal reading or coaching session with me, or on my upcoming Attract the Love That You Deserve workshop can be found in the description box below. All right, Scorpio, we're going to go ahead and jump on, and we're going to start with overall energy, looking at overall energy through oracle cards first. So we'll look at your energy toward the connection, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it with oracle cards first, and then we will dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. But let's first start here with your side of this connection toward the person you are or have been dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. One more. Oh, okay. I have one card come out and I feel like I'm supposed to take that. Dream come true. I feel like this is one of those connections where when you and this person met, it feels like the connection was very instant. I know obviously this is a shooting star, but I kind of, and I've used this deck so much, so I knew that was the case, but I kind of saw like a lightning strike, like just thought, the kind of very electric, very intense, very immediate. I feel like when you met this person, that's kind of what this connection felt like. Scorpio's side of this connection. Robotic. Love on underlying here. It feels like it went from that electric, intense, exciting connection to something that, like the word that came to mind is lifeless. And it doesn't mean that the connection isn't still together. It might be. I don't necessarily know right now. But I feel like what made things really difficult and complicated for you is it felt like you wanted to get back to how things felt in the beginning because things were so good. But then, like I said, things kind of shifted here into this kind of robotic, maybe it was very routine oriented, just kind of the energy that you started experiencing and feeling in this shifted. Love, though, as the underlying, I feel like that never changed. It's just the way that the connection presented itself. Like I feel like your feelings never wavered. So it kind of feels like their energy towards you shifted in some way. But let's look at this. This person's energy toward you. Healing. But there's something about this card. I'm kind of drawn, seeing the, it's like unfinished healing. With the lines are connecting on one side but not the other. Unfinished or incomplete healing. Romance, deja vu, and then confusion. So there is, because they came on strong here. Like this energy feels like what you felt right out of the gate. They came on really strong. The energy was really intense, and I feel like you enjoyed it because I think that you had similar feelings. Like you wanted the same thing as they did, but then something changed. And this deja vu card, this is some sort of a cycle for this person, this withdrawing energy, because it does. It feels like they withdrew. Which, confusion, mixed signals. Like that's, I feel like, what you are kind of getting from this person. Mixed signals, because maybe sometimes they would go back, give you glimpses of this romance, strong energy, but then there were other times where they felt very distant and disconnected, like this robotic energy, which these mixed signals, I feel like, were very, confusing, as they would be for anybody, right? Like not really knowing where they stood or how they felt, even though I don't necessarily even feel like anything in the connection changed. It just feels like their energy shifted. Truth of the connection here between Scorpio and this person. Quality time. Wild card. It's like, in connections, in most relationships, or I guess in kind of consistent relationships, it's like as time goes on, things in the relationship become more consistent. Like the other person's behavior and the way that they show up, it's like it becomes kind of predictable. I feel like things kind of shifted in this. Like it was the opposite. Like in the beginning, it feels like they were very present. Like their energy was very consistent. It was very stable. But then as time went on, it became very unpredictable. And you weren't really knowing like where that, and I think that that's what, because, sorry, I've got a lot coming through. What kind of came through that for you was like trying to figure out like what you did wrong or what you needed to do to bring things back to the beginning. So I feel like that's where a lot of your effort went, was to try to figure out like what you could do to make them act the way that they did in the beginning. This is interesting. This is real interesting. So I'm gonna keep going here. We'll figure out kind of what the root of that was, like why their energy towards you shifted so much. Overall theme of this reading here between Scorpio and this person, you could still be with this person. I definitely feel like things are different in this connection. I mean, that's no secret. You could be in separation too. I don't feel like it. I feel like depending on the collective that you're in, like it depends on your individual situation. Overall theme of this reading between Scorpio and this person. Whoa. So you have allow for time and space with closure here. And I was disillusioned. And then there are regrets. Okay. I feel like what you're looking for right now, more than anything, is like clarity and a deeper understanding of what kind of went down here. And I feel a big part of that is because, and what I can kind of gather so far, and we'll see more so when we jump into tarot, is I feel like you really showed up in this in the best way that you knew how. And based on how they kind of shifted, it felt as though it wasn't enough. And I'm not sitting here saying like you were perfect. I think we all make mistakes as humans, but it's almost as if this person came off as somebody and then you like over time you kind of found out they were somebody else, like feeling. And then, you know, what's interesting is when I got this dream come true card, it was the first card that came out. Remember, it fell out before I even started like actually shuffling, and I was like, I feel like I should take this card. I heard you feel bamboozled, and I feel like I heard that too early, so I didn't say anything right away. I wanted to get the full picture, but it's almost like you feel as if you got played, or as if something ended up like wasn't as authentic or as genuine as you once thought. But I feel as if Spirit's trying to help you, because look at these cards, they're all like very black and white, right? Like this has got a little green in it, and this is a little color here, but the cards are all black and white. And I actually feel like what is being represented in this is like, it's actually not so black and white. Like I feel like there's more nuance in what happened in this connection, and I feel like understanding that might help you a little bit when it comes to how to handle things moving forward. Because I think for you right now, you're just feeling so, like maybe even like whiplash in a way, where you were like, well, I thought that you felt about this, thought this was one thing, but it turned out you actually don't feel this way, or maybe you do feel that way, but then why did you show up this way? Like, I feel like it was just like things happened and changed so quickly that, I don't know, there's a lot of kind of misunderstood energy that I'm gathering here. But let's dive into this some more, Scorpio. Let's look at your side of this connection. Robotic with dream come true. Six of Pentacles in reverse. Overall in this connection, Scorpio, I feel like you gave so much more than you received. Like love and effort and time and commitment. Like I feel like it felt as if you were the one, and maybe this wasn't how it always was, but that's how things shifted. It's like in the beginning, maybe you felt like things were reciprocal and they were showing up in the same way that you were. But then as things shifted, you were the one giving, you were the one investing, you were the one trying to make things work here. And because I feel like it was like, yeah, things were so good. So what happened? The world here represents some sort of a cycle. And maybe this is a cycle for you, getting switched up on in some way, attracting people that, yeah, end up kind of like that's what I hear, switching up on you. Scorpio's side of this connection. King of Swords in reverse. I feel like you experienced a lot of lip service in this connection, meaning that this person said a lot of things, a lot of empty promises, like, big words or grand gestures, or which kind of gives the energy of love bombing in a sense, but I don't, like to jump to those major conclusions, and I think that depending on your situation, it could show up differently, but yeah, it's like there were all of these promises that were made, but then it was never followed through. Like the actions were never there. Because, yeah, the underlying is the Temperance, which is all about patience. So it's almost like you were promised the world and you were just like, great, like can't wait. And then it just never amounted to anything. You tried to stay patient, you tried to stay grounded, you tried to be open to the process, and it just feels like then it just never amounted to anything. Scorpio side of the connection. There's a lot of reversed energy here. Knight of Swords in reverse. Things moved really fast in this connection. And I said that from the beginning, like right away there was a connection, and maybe you got really invested and you gave a lot really quickly because it felt safe, because it felt like you were receiving what you were giving, but then that switch up happened, because I feel like that also happened quickly. Like I feel like everything in this really happened quickly, like the beginning of the connection and the switch up. both of those things happened very like instantaneously. And I felt that at the very beginning with that dream come true card. And again, like kind of seeing that lightning strike. And I know that's not what's depicted on the card, but it's like, it was just like a flash. Things changed and shifted in a flash. But the connection was also very instant at the beginning here. Knight of Cups. I feel like when it comes to how you feel about this connection, I feel like your feelings are still very there and still very, very strong, but I feel like there's some confusion about it because it's like maybe the feelings that I had like weren't for the person that I thought that they were, like is for the version of them that, you know, I thought that they were. And I think that that has you a little bit almost disconnected from self-trust in a way too, because I feel like you're like, I thought this was right. Like there's so much, I really thought this was right. I really thought this was going to be something, or I really thought this was going to go the distance. And then just like feeling so wrong based on how things unfolded. And I'm not saying you were wrong for how you felt, okay? Absolutely not. Your feelings are valid. But feeling so switched up on and kind of like having the rug ripped out from you, from underneath you in a way, can make you feel so, I mean, the word is just confused, right? Like, but then I feel like there's still this energy of getting those mixed signals. Like it's like things shifted, but then you still get glimpses sometimes. So yeah, there's so much, adds so much more confusion here. The Empress in reverse, that is a lot of reverse energy. I feel like, you know, you're not being treated, shown up for, loved, valued in the way that you deserve. Like there's no, you're not unaware of that. I don't think that that's something that is a secret. What I feel you're struggling with is why things shifted so much, right? Like that was the main message at the beginning. And hopefully when we dive into their energy, we can understand things a little bit different. But I also feel like this is one of those situations where it's so challenging and so complicated because it's like there is so much potential that you saw, and you put so much hope in that potential, and feeling so let down from that can be really challenging because it's like, is this just proof like that I can't have the love that I deserve? Because especially when we invest in people, right? You give everything you have and you show up in the best way that you know how, and things shift. It's like naturally you're going to jump to those conclusions, and this might not be for everyone, but naturally you're going to jump to those conclusions that are like, well, if I gave the best, you know, everything that I had and showed up in the best way that I know how, and it still wasn't enough, does that mean that what I have to give isn't enough? Like and especially if this happens repeatedly, like if this is a cycle for you, you know, you're going to start to go, well, when somebody gets too close, eventually they leave. And it's easy to kind of internalize things about yourself from those experiences. But I feel like that's where Spirit's saying it's not so black and white. Like there's more nuance to understanding what's going on and what this cycle is than maybe you're currently able to fully understand. So let's just see. Let's see what's going on. Confusion with healing this person's energy toward you. Oh. King of Swords in reverse right out of the gate. You also could be dealing with an air sign, Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini. But I also feel, and you definitely don't have to be, because I feel like this is... Okay, hang on. Let me get more here. You wouldn't know it, not by how they present themselves, but this person actually struggles with some pretty deep insecurity. I mean, yeah, Lovers in reverse, Six of Swords. they struggle with some pretty deep insecurity. And specifically with the Lovers in reverse, these feelings of being very deeply unlovable. Like, and I don't know where this stems from. And they might not either, right? But it typically stems from somewhere in our past. We go through certain experiences that teach us things about ourselves. But there's a reason that this person wears a bit of a mask in their relationships, meaning like in the beginning comes on really strong, is they are trying to mask these beliefs that they are not good enough, deeply unlovable, not capable of experiencing love. So they show up as the version of themselves that they feel that they have to be. But this version of them that they feel like they have to be isn't a version of them that they can adequately, got those words confused, sustain. And a big part of that is because of the lack of healing. Okay, this is starting to make sense. In the beginning of every connection, both people are on their best behavior, right? Both people are going to show up as the person that you could say maybe that they want to be. But then as time goes on in a connection, the version that they are capable of being is going to start to come out. And that's the version of them you're going to see more consistently. And who somebody is capable of being is going to be directly dependent on the amount of healing and work they have done on themselves. Meaning, have they learned to recognize their traumas and triggers and respond rather than react? Are they aware of their insecurity, and do they learn not to let insecurity take the wheel? Or the opposite of that, right? Like, they have deep-seated insecurity, and that insecurity has this is coming from this deep belief that, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable enough, so I'm never going to let anybody get too close. I'm never going to let anybody get to see who I really am, to create that vulnerability that comes with deep connection, because I already believe that I can't be loved for who I really am. So I'm not going to let anybody get too close, because I already know that they're not going to love me, and then they're going to leave me, or they're going to do something to hurt me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it away. I'm going to keep it at a distance. But there's still the desire there, right? They do have a desire for the connection that exists here. But that desire starts to be overpowered by their inability to believe that they can have the very thing that they desire. So they desire it, but they push it away because of this deep-seated insecurity. But then they desire it, so they try to pull it closer, but then they push it away. So it's interesting because right out of the gate, right, I talked about how it felt very instant, and then I saw that King of Swords in reverse, and I was like, this kind of feels like lip service, like you received a lot of promise, but not a lot of follow through. I actually feel that this person very much meant the things that they said, or said that they wanted at the beginning of the connection. I think that was genuine. But their inability to back it up with action comes not from them seeing you as somebody who isn't worthy and deserving of it, but them seeing themselves as someone who isn't worthy and deserving of it. And this is how we project our insecurities onto others, is, we start to find reasons to push another person away. We start to, essentially put ourselves in this position of saying, I am safer when I am at a distance from others. Even if I desire that love, even if I desire that closeness, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen so that I don't get hurt. Not saying you were going to hurt them or you had that intention of it, but this is all stuff that is happening below the surface, right? 95% of our movements, choices, and decisions stem from our subconscious. Only 5% of the way that we interact with our reality is conscious level decision making, and healing is about closing that gap. It's about learning to understand how we respond and react to our traumas and our triggers, and making sure that we don't let our traumas and triggers and insecurities run the show, that we are not on autopilot. A lot of people in this world have not done the healing and are on autopilot. And what this kind of summarizes, you could call it a lot of different things. I do not diagnose. I am not a psychologist. I am a tarot reader, and I understand energy and relationship patterns very well. But I don't diagnose anyone. But a lot of people, say this is an avoidant attachment style. A lot of people talk about how this is, emotional unavailability. And all of those things are true. But labeling that doesn't help you understand what's going on below the surface. And I think that when we understand what's going on below the surface, it can really help us on our healing journey, because it can help us understand that somebody's switch up, or somebody choosing not to invest, or somebody deciding, changing the way that they show up, but still wanting, to have that connection, has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with them. And when we start to understand that, we can start to ask ourselves the bigger question, and the question that is honestly more empowering, which is, what keeps me in a position of attracting people who have not done the work or the healing to meet me where I deserve to be met? Because there are people out there who can meet you where you deserve to be met. There are people out there who won't switch up on you, who are not driven by insecurity, and who do have the ability. Oh my God, almost every single card this person has. Why are there so many reverse cards? Ace of Swords in reverse, Six of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Pentacles in reverse. It's almost as if there's so much lacking that you needed in this connection. Like there's I don't know, more of an absent of the things that you needed than there were the present of it. Now, I think there was a promise of a lot of it, which kept you kind of holding on to like whenever that promise was going to be fulfilled. But at the end of the day, it just feels like you were really lacking a lot of what you needed in this. Anyway, Ace of Swords in reverse, Six of Pentacles in reverse, Two of Pentacles in reverse. This person's priorities aren't aligned with their desires, meaning that they have a desire to love and be loved, to experience the love that they deserve and desire. And at the core, every single human being does, okay? We have a fundamental need for human connection. Every single person at their core has a desire to love and be loved for who they really are. That doesn't necessarily mean it's always romantic, but everybody has that desire to experience that love. Whether or not somebody can adequately show up for it, again, dependent on their healing, right? It's kind of the same thing as somebody who like wakes up one day and is like, I want to run a marathon. I want to complete a marathon, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to sign up for the next marathon. I'm going to do it. But then they don't do the work. They don't train. They don't show up. They don't, do anything to work on their ability to run a marathon. Then marathon days comes up, shows up, and then they fail, right? They're not able to run the marathon or to do it in a way that doesn't harm them. And that's, I think, a really good understanding of, people have a desire for a relationship, but that doesn't always mean that they've done the work to actually be able to have a healthy, a healthy connection. And the thing is, for a lot of us, we don't look at it that way. We look at how other people show up in a relationship as a reflection of how they feel about us. So when somebody switches up on us or when things change, we look at it as almost like this challenge. Like, let me show you that I'm worthy. Let me show you I'm deserving. Let me show you that I deserve more than what you're giving, when in reality, it never had anything to do with you in the first place. Their switch up had everything to do with them and where they're at in their own kind of healing journey here. And it feels as if, they do better. They desire connection, but they never let it fully develop, and they move on before actually allowing the connection to fully develop into something real. But then they, you probably find themselves, you probably find them, like, there are times they come back, or there are times that they do, try to open up to that connection again, because they do want it. Okay. The feelings are real. The desire is real. Their capacity and capability to show up for it isn't there. And that's one of the best things my therapist ever taught me, is that we cannot take other people's capacity to give and receive love personally, because it doesn't have anything to do with us. It has everything to do with them. But there's always a but, right? Our goal isn't to change the people that we're attracting. Our goal is to understand why we're attracting people who are only capable of meeting us to a certain extent. Because you deserve somebody who doesn't just who doesn't just promise you the world, but also gives it to you. Who doesn't just say, I love you and I care about you and I want to be with you, but who does the work to actually be what it is that they need to be to make that happen. You deserve reciprocation, you deserve vulnerability, and all of those things are possible for you. However, when we are attracting a certain type of person or a certain type of dynamic into our life, there is something that the universe is teaching us to learn. There is something in that moment that we are being called to learn and to heal within ourselves so that we can attract healthy love. So I think that it's hard because it's easy to kind of like, point fingers at the other person and go, well, they X, Y, Z. And you're probably right? Like, this person made certain decisions that weren't healthy. They did things that were very unfair to you, and none of that isn't valid. Like, your feelings, your experience around this is absolutely very valid. But if you want to feel empowered, if you want to feel as if you have the ability to attract the love that you deserve, despite how the people in your life show up, then there has to be, this willingness to look at, what keeps attracting this into my life? Where does this cycle stem from? We're going to dive deeper into this in the extended You Have Wild card with quality time. Again, I'm going to dive deeper into the deeper purpose of the connection, the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. I'm going to look at that with tarot, and I've got an advice card I'm going to pull at the very end. Before I hop on over to the extended, I do want to reiterate that I'm hosting the How to Attract the Love That You Deserve workshop on February 20th. It is a live workshop at 6 p.m. Central Time. If you've attended one that I've had in the past, this one is a little bit different, but if you can't attend live and you still wish to be a part of it, if you purchase a ticket, you will receive the replay and all of the materials the next day. I am probably going to put this workshop up for sale for a little while after the workshop. However, I will raise the price to keep things fair for everyone who purchased ahead of time. So just keep that in mind if you want to be a part of it, regardless of whether or not you attend live. I would purchase the ticket now because this is the lowest ticket the price will be. Anyway, thank you guys so much, as always, for your support of me as a reader. I obviously hope that this helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing, and I'm wishing you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.